Hey guys, welcome back to Fleetyards Mission Briefings. I am, as always, Captain Foley.
And I'm still Commander Cookins. Hey guys.
You're still a commander. Anyway, this is the show where we take a look at a ship from the sci-fi universe. Somewhere out there, there's millions and multitudes of them.
Multiverse,
and Samuel does, high quality 1080p renders of some of those great ships. Sometimes they're fan built models, sometimes they're official models, but he always does some fantastic work and gives us some great stuff to look at. So we are going to take a look at, what are we looking at today, Samuel?
This one I brought to you today, but it's not just one of my personal favourites. It's a fan commissioned ship. So thank you so much for Andrew Smith for donating towards the show to help put this ship together. We are looking at, I think this is going to be a big one, the Serenity, the Firefly cast transport from the fan favourite cult classic, you can tell I'm a fan, Firefly TV show by Joss Whedon. And this is the original 3D model built by Pierre Drolet for the TV show. Amazingly detailed, and this is going to be a really interesting episode, I think. So let's get started. Now, first of all, this is what I'm very proud of. This is the original Serenity model as used in the television show. There's in fact 2 iterations. The movie version from the movie Serenity is quite a lot different. I'll be covering that as a completely separate episode because they are quite different. This is the TV version though. So this was used in 2002, 2003 for all their 13 episodes, and this is the model, all canon details. We're so proud to include this as our other, we looked at Babylon 5 ships, we've got some Star Wars assets from one of the games, Stargate, we've got some Firefly as well. So, the Serenity. Stuart, did you watch Firefly when it first came out, and what was your first impression if you did, and if you didn't, what's your first impression anyway?
Didn't watch it when it first came out. Watched part of the movie Serenity. And I think episode 1 and 2 of the series.
Okay.
I have them all on Blu-ray.
Okay.
The complete series and Serenity upstairs. I haven't had a chance to watch them all. Don't hate on me. But I thought it was a very interesting ship, and it definitely says Firefly to me. It does look like a firefly, a bug. I'm interested in learning more. I really want to sit down and watch the series. Like I said, I haven't had the time, but I do have it.
Yes.
So don't crucify me.
And how does it make you feel knowing that when you watch the show, you know that we here at Fleetyards have that model, can make new renders and animations? How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel very, very proud. We have very big ass sets.
It is pretty amazing here at Fleetyards, but we're trusted by a lot of the teams that worked behind the shows, and it's like I say, a great honour to bring you the details. But yeah, I didn't watch it when it came out because I was a little bit too young for that sort of thing. Watched it 5-6 years ago, loved it. I think most people loved Firefly when it came out. Sad there's only one movie. Watch the movie, love the movie. This is an amazing, incredible design, love it to pieces, and the model they made you can see it is incredible, and there's some amazing details because the whole show Firefly had very few spaceships. So therefore they could, and that everything's going to take place in this one ship. So they really put the detail in. And this production company ends up working on Battlestar Galactica, the miniseries. So they built a lot of those models. So the same care and attention went into that stuff. Nice. They are a high quality thing. But yeah, so love the ship, love the details. Can't really speak highly enough about it. But what do you think the scale is of this ship? I mean, I'll give some few details first, Stuart, to give you some context. So, the Serenity, which is the hero version, is a Series 3 Firefly model. There's 4 series. I don't know that, but apparently there are 4. It's classed as a mid-bulk transport. It has 2 Blue Sun Trace Compression Block 3.8 RC... as a power plant, sorry. It's, Malcolm Reynolds, captain. It's got a long registry we're going to talk about. Its manufacturing number is 47 Mark 1I, 1V. It was built in 2459. So in terms of, we're also a Star Trek channel. That's very, very far in the future for Star Trek. I mean, that's even beyond Star Trek Online, which is 2409. It has no weapons as far as the default being is. And I will tell you the crew capacity and such later. It has 2 grapple launchers, 6 transmitter buoys, and 3 one-man escape pods. So, what do you think about any of that and of the scale?
3 one-man escape pods makes me think the crew's probably not very big.
Yeah, I have no idea where they are either.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking, you know what? You want to save everybody on the ship, so. But I think a crew of more than 3 is probably likely. Uh, crew of 6 or 7, maybe. And size-wise, it's got to be bigger than the Falcon, Millennium
Okay.
Falcon. Um, I can't see it being much bigger than that, though.
Okay. And
Because
why?
you can see the cockpit there. You can see kind of where they sit. You got to take into account that they have to have somewhere to sleep, and
Yep.
so you're looking at the overall ship. I can't see it being super huge,
Okay.
but it's also not super small. So I'd say a little bit bigger than the Millennium Falcon.
Okay. Well, let's have a look. So the next picture is a scale shot. Falcon is not in this view, but it will be in the next view. This is compared to a plethora of other sci-fi ships. And again, as we always say, they're all the original studio assets as used in the shows, in Battlestar and Stargate, in BSG, in Star Trek, obviously, except the Runabout and the Star Wars X-Wing. Now, it is worth mentioning that is the Delta Flyer default CG scale, but as we all know, the Delta Flyer does modify itself sometimes. That's what it thinks it is if you load the scene in. So that's it compared to the smaller craft of the multiple different universes. And again, this is I love being able to do this sort of thing because it gives you a really different perspective. Yeah. What do you think about that?
It seems a little bit smaller than I first thought, because it's basically like twice as long, 2.5 times longer than a runabout. Runabouts aren't super big. I expected it to be quite a bit bigger than a runabout.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense as far as the cockpit area goes. You can see that scaling, but it doesn't leave a lot of room or for many decks or for crew quarters or anything like that.
Well, obviously, you know, I am a distinct fan of the show, so obviously if you watch the show, you'll know that they do build the entire internal space of the ship, so you would know how many rooms. But one thing about the Firefly is that obviously the runabout it's that little small internal piece is the living space, and it's one room, but the Firefly itself is over double the width, and it's many times deeper. So I mean, it has got plenty of room. It's got the big cargo area, and we'll see a picture of that later on. We'll see the big cargo area, primary, and then you've got the living area to the top circle bit. The neck has the housing, the people. The back is the engine room, and the top is the cockpit. So it's all pretty neatly put together, and there's those bits in between that have the doctor's quarters and things. But it's more a case of they've crammed it all in. But the runabout has a lot of rooms, but if you take out the nacelles, which is the non-living space, because remember all of the middle bit is basically living space. The engines are in those wings, so there's a lot of space really in the internal, especially how deep it is. But obviously this is a cargo ship. These are not the best examples in terms of comparative roles. We've got some funny things later on, but I just want to compare it to other sci-fi ships. And it is worth noting that the Firefly did appear in the Battlestar Galactica pilot, so it is a canon BSG ship.
Interesting. That's very cool.
Yeah. So if it was to fight the Cylons, that would be how big it would be to a Heavy Raider Mark II.
Nice.
But the next picture, Stuart, is a side view. You get a much better indication of the size, and there it is compared to the Falcon. Now, what do you think there?
Lengthwise, I thought that was pretty much what I expected.
Okay.
I didn't realize that the runabout was so big compared to the Falcon.
Yeah,
but then again, comparing the cockpit, you can see that similarity.
It's just different. It's just different style of space, really.
Yeah, and it is deep, as like you said, a couple decks at least. So yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, the bottom bit, the belly, is the cargo, and that's a 2-floor space in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Then above that you've got another deck. So I mean, you've got at least 3. I think it's not a flat ship. There's like a going up, ramped a bit. So it's kind of oddly proportioned. But when they built the actual, they built the Falcon, but they also built this set. They built it in 2 big pieces, so you can almost walk around the entire ship, which was great for filming. And that's if you watch the show, it's almost all continuous. I think the entire first floor is together, but the bottom bit, the cargo bay, the walkway that goes up doesn't actually go to the other set, but it is all together with the ceiling. So it was a wonderful set, but the entire top floor you can walk from one to the other. But it certainly feels to me more like a cargo ship, because the Millennium Falcon is not like it's a small cargo vessel. It boxes its people. It's a freighter. Mm-hmm. It's a freighter more than a cargo ship. Whereas the Serenity Firefly class has a huge. I mean that cargo space is the size of a runabout, mm-hmm. and then almost twice as or a third as thick. That's a lot of internal volume, and you could fit 2 Type 9 fighters. You could fit a Type 9 and a couple of Vipers probably in that if you modified it slightly. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of physical space for transporting. If you stole a Viper and then sold it, that's quite a lot of money you're making off that deal. So yeah, what do you think?
Kind of what I anticipated when I initially. The top view threw me off because it doesn't look like there's a lot of internal volume, but now compared to the Falcon and stuff, as far as deck height and stuff goes, I can see where there is room there. So
now, would you agree it looks a bit fat?
Yes.
It's got a belly on it.
It's got a belly.
But I still love it. It still has a certain elegance, how it's all put together. It's very.
I
well...
love that the neck tapers up like that.
I know.
Normally, it's something I wouldn't like to see on a ship. Like straight is better, but that looks really cool. Gives it personality.
Yeah, the whole ship was a wonderful design, and the fact it's got a sort of not ramps, but the extra pylon-y bits that go off the engine up, just because I don't know what they're for. I don't know. But yeah, very interesting to these different sci-fi universes. But these are not the biggest ships in the verse. So if you go to the next picture, this is compared to a Stargate Al-Kesh. And yes, we have the Stargate Al-Kesh. Now, obviously, sizing for Stargate is a little bit all over the place. We base it on the CG scale because, and believe me, we can back that up based on real 6-foot people. But this is what the CG model of each ship is. And the Al-Kesh, as you might know from Stargate, is a troop transport / bomber / assault craft, which really just makes me think it's a bigger ship than it is. What do you think about that compared to the Firefly?
My Stargate knowledge isn't the best, you know that. I've rarely seen these ships, so I don't really know what to say. I mean,
well, it's obviously for you guys out there that have seen Stargate, it's an interesting perspective. But there is a ship you do know, Stuart. The next picture.
No, there's not. Hit me in the feels. TOS Connie, awesome.
And this is the 3D model from Intermirror Darkly. This is the canonical model. So Stuart, now what do you think? And this is an orthographic view to the side, so there's no image distortion. This is as it would look if it was side by side in real life. So what do you think?
I'm impressed. Here you can definitely see the decking, like the levels, because the Connie on the edge there has at least 2 decks.
Yep.
So you can see 2 decks and then the cargo compartment underneath. I think that's nice. I like it. I love seeing the Falcon and the Connie side by side, because that scale always makes you go, the Connie's not as big as you think it is. And I think you get that from this as well. So.
Yeah, I love that comparison that the 2 decks of the cargo is the equivalent to the 2 decks of the Saucer Rim, but also you've got the slanting down neck, which in itself has the walkway, and then the lower deck, which is the crew quarters. So you've got 2 decks in that as well. It's interesting. I mean, and also it is worth pointing out that also the Constitution class appeared in BSG in the pilot. So both these ships are canonical Battlestar Galactica universe ships, which I think we'll do an episode on at some point to discuss that.
The fleet, the ragtag fleet.
Yeah, it's also so obvious in there. But I just want to throw this in there, Stuart, to put in perspective, and it's actually pretty small. This is it's big for an auxiliary craft in terms of like shuttles, but this is it's a dedicated shuttle ship, dedicated cargo ship. I mean,
a nice personal ship that you'd want to own. It's not small as a shuttle, but it's not a huge capital ship either.
Absolutely.
It's a nice size.
Okay, well, the next picture, we're getting back to the 1080p detail shots. Look at that detail on this model.
Wow.
And as a fan of the show, this is just like mouth-watering for me, because I love this ship, and it was such an honour to be able to be given these models. I mean, what do you think about all that?
Okay. When I first think Firefly, I think the back end should be a huge engine that should glow, but you got these little boosters and things there. I don't quite know how the propulsion works on this. I'm sure you'll tell me.
Yeah.
And the main engines are the one on the side, which is cool. The one thing that kind of sticks out to me right away is the pods or whatever they are on the side of the ship there above the engine struts.
Yep.
They look like a different technology almost. They look like a different aesthetic.
Okay.
So I don't know. Are those like the escape pods or what are those?
See, this is why the Fleetyards mission briefing, we don't tend to use all the facts, but sometimes one of us knows most of the facts, and this is one of those cases where I know a lot of the functionals. Which do you want me to hit first, the engines or the other pods? Because you threw a lot.
Let's start with the engines.
Okay. So the Firefly verse is interesting because the basic backstory is they left the sort of worn, torn, destroyed planet of Earth, or I can't remember if it was Earth specifically, but they left to another solar system, and that then eventually, because they have the technology, obviously, of space travel, eventually populated every planet inside that system. So the entire Firefly franchise takes place within one solar system. Might be a big solar system, but one solar system. So there is no faster than light. There is no travelling between the stars. I mean, maybe the most advanced ship of the Alliance might have that, but this is not the normal. So what actually happens is the aft pods, they're the chemical propulsion engines, they're for normal sublight, and they all for atmospheric, normal, simple operations and thrust control. I mean, they spin, they rotate, and we'll see some pictures of that later on. The aft section, and there is actually part of the engine that does rotate. Obviously, it's static, so you can't see it. But the aft section is the primary engine. That is the booster. That is the it charges and then it sort of explodes in energy. That's the not FTL, but that's the huge propulsion system. So, if you want to get somewhere, you charge up, and then you're going at a huge velocity, then you have to slow down. But it still takes days and weeks to get between places, depending on where you're going, in a system to out of a system. But booster / main engine, and then sort of side thruster / atmospheric.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
While you were yattering about engines, I was just perusing the ship again,
Absolutely.
and I was looking at those pods. Are they shuttlecraft of some kind?
Yes.
Okay, see,
Good job.
You can work it out by zooming in and actually looking at the details.
1080p, eh? That's why we do it for you guys. The show. I mean, these took a long time to render, guys. These images. The Serenity has two different pods. They have little wings that although there are iterations. When we do an episode on the pods, you'll see they actually change, even though you don't realise. We'll show you guys. We've got them. Don't worry. They have little wings that pop out, and they are shuttles in the strictest sense. They are meant to go not between systems, obviously, but if you're on a planet surface, they can detach and go do some other things, or deliver, or taking people to places. One of which is used by the resident companion, Anara. That's her sort of rent. She's renting out one of the pods, and the other one is the primary escape module for the ship. So yeah, good job with seeing that. But yeah, I just love the ship and all the details. It feels so real and feels so full, and you can understand every single piece. Like, everything was clearly thought through. This is the engine module. Everything is there for a reason. And I get that feel. I hope you do get the feel as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I get.
Everything is functional and looks like it serves a purpose. And you can, kind of work out what everything does, which I like. Now, I got a question about the engine pods on the side. I assume that they probably rotate, yes?
Yep. Yeah, we've got a picture and a few about that, which was fun to do. Yeah.
Cool, there you go.
They can do all the thing. I mean, you've seen great shots where the ship has to go and then suddenly do a turn, and one of them turns, fires.
That's cool, okay.
Yeah, it's actually a surprisingly maneuverable ship. You would be surprised. I mean, the G-force...
It could do really good barrel rolls, that's for sure. One up, one down.
Oh, yeah. It does that. It does, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I think because it has that spinning area, that's where the gravity comes. I mean, again, it has artificial gravity. That's really into the tech of it. But yeah, I mean, it's a classic cargo ship, and these things are obviously designed to take cargo from one system to another. Now, in the universe of Firefly, the inner systems are the rich ones. There is this classic, wealth and poverty situation, but obviously those systems that were colonized first, those planets, I mean, they had the most resources put on them, they had the most technology. That's where the Alliance and the rich people are living their normal lives. But then as people wanted to be further and further out to, get the new resources, to get new opportunities, it takes longer and longer to get those important supplies from the initial planet. So every system you go further out, obviously they're pockets of different ones, they are poorer, and the furthest ones, they have the least law, because if it takes weeks to get troops from one system to another, you can't really manage it, like the Old West, hence why it's sort of Space Western.
That's what I was just going to say. That it's just like the Old West.
Absolutely.
You got the big cities, and then you got the outskirts towns that, lawless towns.
So this ship is they crook some of the time and transporters other parts of the time, but they tend to go between the outer system planets because they can afford to do that. But if they run out of fuel, and that is some of the issues, they're stuck. I mean, there isn't a lot of people or places, and space is big. They don't run into that many ships often. It's a very interesting show, very, very good world, and definitely give it a watch, as I'm sure all of our fans are saying.
Yes, they're all like, "You haven't seen it yet, Captain Foley? What's wrong with you? You're not authorized to talk about this ship anymore." Anyway,
well, I'm talking about it. So yes. Next picture.
That's right. I'm learning.
So another great detail shot.
So what are those big long things on the bottom at the back? Do they do anything specific?
I don't know. That's very specific. I mean, I don't. My guess would be they are there to land on as sleds, because obviously you don't want to land on the engine. It has to be balanced, because the ship lands. It just lands.
At the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be my guess, and it's a very natural solution if that's the case. But again, wonderful details everywhere. I love the different pipes, and it's just really nice model.
It is, absolutely. All right, so let's go to the next picture, and this is a shot of it from the underneath the front. You probably see this shot a lot when it's landed on a planet, don't you?
It tends to be the other perspective, but now also we've got close-ups of everything, so we don't have to go into the broad. We can say the broad strokes, but you can see the solar panels again, very natural touch, and also feels like skin
on the side there.
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Yep, solar panels for natural sunlight. I mean, it needs to recharge somehow. Yes, it feels like you can see the Serenity logo. You can see the cargo bay door, but we'll see that in a minute. Turbine feels at the front of the engines. That's the intake, I'm assuming. And there's details at the front of the neck. I mean, or the bridge layer, but we'll see that in a minute. But just again, wonderful model. But the next picture, that's a fun one.
That's it landed. Yeah, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was the very last one I did, because I said to myself, can I actually move everything in the model? Well, I should be able to. So I worked out which pieces were which, and I rotated the engines appropriately, and even opened up the cargo bay door. How I did it.
That is awesome.
That's a shot that, again, having the real model makes a difference. So that's what it looks like when it's on a mission. What do you think? And it sets a scale almost, because you can see sort of how big the cargo space is. What do you think?
That's really impressive. I think it's a cool ship. I really do. I'm getting excited. I want to go watch it now. It's upstairs. That's what I'm probably going to do as soon as I'm done. I'm going to go watch. Should I watch Serenity first? Or
no, that's the movie to end the series.
Oh, so don't watch that first.
No.
Gotcha.
No, you have to watch the pilot. I think it was called Serenity, and then but watch it in the order on the Blu-ray. Don't watch it on the order that online says, because it was released out of order, and then the pilot there's actually two pilots sort of.
Gotcha.
And it does look amazing in high def. It's a really nicely done show. But the engines rotate. They've all got the pylon things that move. Lets it just sink down neatly, and then just stays on them and.
Now, are the solar panels standard equipment, or were they added later by this crew? Well, they look almost tacked on.
Well, it's a rusty bucket. I mean, it's not the newest ship. I mean, I would assume it's just, in terms of the styling, it's just cool. In terms of function, I would assume they're just places to put them on. I mean, it means you can take them off. I mean, they haven't got shields, so if an asteroid hits one, you don't want to be so integrated. You can just put it off and put a new one on. So that's my assumption.
Cool. And you said this doesn't come with weapons as standard equipment. Does this have weapons?
No, it's a cargo ship. I mean, they in the movie they do something to give it weapons, but that is a very separate thing. It's a cargo ship, and they see the law quite often, and therefore they could detect their weapons, and they're not out of weapons because they're a cargo ship. Why would you? You can be a pirate if you have weapons. They're not pirates, are they? Well, you don't know, you haven't seen the show, but they're not pirates, sort of.
Excellent.
Anyway, the next picture is a great close-up. Now we're getting all of the detail shots. So the front, and I love that they had an interior set. I loved it. It's a little bit difficult to tell where's what, and you'll see in the show, but for those fans out there, that's the interior. What do you think about the bridge module, I suppose, and the little details?
I love that it looks like a head of it. It has such a organic feel to it, but it's not organic. It's very mechanical.
Yep.
I love that. I mean, you can
Yep.
see the insect inspiration there. Even the little solar panels look like wings or scaling.
Scaling, yeah.
Yeah. So I love this. I love the cockpit module. It reminds me a lot of the Millennium Falcon as far as size wise goes. 4 chairs kind of thing.
Oh, I mean, it's
And,
quite a lot bigger. I mean, this is a big cockpit. It is quite a lot larger. It's also 2
There you go.
floors, technically.
Oh, cool.
There's a lower mini cargo area in the nose
Nice.
with a little staircase. Again, it's difficult to tell. But
Yeah.
I'm sure it's first we'll show it off. What I like about this, apart from all, I mean, it wasn't really in high def when we saw it, so this is amazing detail. But I love that either side there's got these little, things coming off the mouth, like little side pincer things, and it's asymmetrical. One side has a dish, one side has a deflectory thing, and in the middle you've got these little nose bits, and there's 2 little it's such a nice ship. And then again, the movie version is different. That's why I'll look at it separately because there's different details.
Very cool. Is it like comparing the TOS Connie to the refit? Or
Yes.
Not quite as drastic.
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that you would never know because it's the same ship. They don't change it, they don't upgrade it. But it's a movie budget versus a TV budget. I think a lot closer in the movie. So they really up detail it and they add a lot of extra things. It's the same design, but the shapes are quite... Again, you won't see it unless you do literally just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like we've done for other ships. Like the Rhode Island and Equinox, same angle. You will see so many differences, and it's kind of astounding that I never noticed.
Cool.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the next picture is another farther away shot, of the head and neck of the thing, I guess.
How the hell did they build all these different curves together? It's not exactly one piece, is it? It's like all these different groovy angles. That's
It's
just
groovy, baby.
It is, certainly is.
Yeah, I love the way that the bridge portion is up and angled up like that.
Yep.
It really adds to the uniqueness of the ship, for sure.
They even have those little head ridges that pop off right at the top for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Just solidifies the feel. And all these little panels and just things, and yeah, it's wonderful. The next picture is a close-up, and one great thing about this is that they obviously had to high detail these pods because we get to see them close-up as well. So it's a wonderfully detailed pod as well. And you can see at the back they've got those little wings that pop out. You can see the door, which gives you distinct scale. And yeah, another little pod. I had to light all these shots to look good. I'm pretty happy with these actually.
Yeah, they look great, man.
Thank you.
Again, very insect-like with the way that looks, especially when the
Absolutely.
wings come out, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're not hiding that one.
The thing, it looks like there's clamps that are holding it. Those drop away, and then it launches, or...
As far as I recall, it goes... And then... So it's like in a slight bed, and it locks into the ship slightly, so, when it goes into atmosphere, it doesn't burn away. So it's semi-concealed in the ship. Not a lot, but enough to be within its gravity field or something.
And how many crew can fit on one of these ships, do you think?
All of them.
Auxiliary pod. So how many is on the crew?
Well, the crew is like 5, but then the crew expands in the show to like 9, I think. So, but that's like the family at that point. So I mean, 9, 10. I can't remember exactly because I have to count everyone. But yeah, I mean, the shuttle can easily fit everybody. It's got a decently sized front pod and then a decently sized... I mean, it's her apartment, basically, Anara's. Anara as the crew. But yeah, so yeah, everyone. I mean, we see everyone leave at one point, so everyone can. But yeah, their shuttles are not just escape pods. But yeah, the cruise is as big as you want it to be. There's only a certain number of bunks. That's why she sleeps there. The engineer sleeps in engineering in a little bunk, which is just a hammock that she made, I believe. And then 2 of the crew are married, therefore they share the same room. So it's kind of neatly spaced out. There isn't enough deck space more than 4 people, to be fair. Yeah.
I would be interested in finding out where the single-person escape pods are, though.
Yes, that would be interesting. So the next picture is another side view, pulling out a little bit, just see the engine detail, and you can get a sense of the cowling, and there's there's so much beautiful detail. Little hatches, and there's, I think, RCS thrusters on the top right. And again, we're going to blow through some of these because there's a lot of small details I rented to point out that I didn't notice until I looked at the model. So just some fun stuff for you guys. But the next picture, there's a hatch there, guys. There's actually an external hatch.
Oh, cool.
I had no idea.
Maybe that's one of the escape pods. Does it blow out, do you think? Maybe it's the one-person escape pods, so...
Maybe. I have no idea. I prefer to think it was a hatch because it makes sense to have some escape areas, but I love the detail that it has. It just, that's a wonderful little piece. You can see closer of the solar panels and another 2 RCS thruster panels. So I mean, again, wonderful little detail. The next photo, you get a close up of the door and I guess an upper pod bit, and just so many things. This is just really for you to enjoy the model at this point, guys. But, there's only a few more bits to talk about, but the ship is so nice. Throw anything out there, Stuart. Do you want to keep going through?
I can't think of anything with this picture. The next picture, though, is very interesting. This is the top dome.
Yes.
And you can see in there, you can see a table and chairs and stuff. So is it like an observation lounge?
Oh,
like
that's the commissary. That's the mess hall. That's the commissary. Big room. That's where the family meet and get together. Or the family, the crew, but the family get to meet up and then you get to see out into the stars.
Oh.
Yeah. Although they never really have good food because they never have good food. They're not rich, Stuart. They're poor. They're really poor. Oh. The next photo is an extreme close-up of the engine module again, just to show wonderful detail. The 5 nozzles, the RCS thrustery components. There's a whole lot of thrusters on the top pod there, I guess, to help move it. The next picture again is a much more front view. So many, bits that could expel, gas and yes. I mean, this is quite a volatile engine, so it makes sense to have all these extra things to vent if need be.
They said there's a part on it that spins. Is that visible through those holes? Like, does it light up?
It's a pretty big rotating thing.
So I just had the opportunity to look online on YouTube to see it, and it's like at the base of it, it's like a rotating thing. It's actually really cool. I just watched the landing sequence of it, which is really neat. So yeah, that's fantastic.
Just a bit of extra motion. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does speak to being a Firefly with the butt kind of lighting up.
Yes. But the next photo is the last photo. It's the first photo of that great 3/4. So, Stuart, this is probably the most time you've looked at this ship. What are your closing thoughts?
A lot more appreciation for the ship than I used to have. A lot of thought went into this. And it's very real world, very realistic, which I really appreciate that in all ships. I don't think things that are too fantastical just... It's too alien then, This is very close to home, could be a possibility in the future. This might even be Star Trek's future, considering when it happens. I'm just saying. Anyway, so like I said, I'm eager to go check out some Firefly now. I do want to watch it. I have wanted to watch it for a long time. I just either forget about it or just don't have the time. But I need to make time because everybody tells me I need to see it. So I'm excited. I love this ship. And I actually have a Christmas ornament of it I got in one of my loot crates that I've never put on the tree. But yeah.
Well, maybe we should do a Firefly watch at your house next, and we can record it as your first commentary. And because only 13 episodes and a movie, so that's pretty doable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't wait to do the full Fleetyards. I'm going to animate the real Serenity. I mean, what an absolute privilege! And as a fan of the show, and the model is I mean, this is one of the best models we've ever seen on Trekyards or Fleetyards. I think it's. I think so. I don't know if you agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Captain Richard Castle must be proud. That's what I know. I know Richard Castle better than I know Firefly. Unfortunately.
Hey, he was in the costume once for Halloween. Therefore,
he was. Yes, Space Cowboy.
Yep. It's a good show though. You should watch Castle. So yeah, that is it. Like I said, love the show, love the ship, and cannot wait to get the full $1,000 on Patreon to be able to do full episodes on these ships, even if they take a long time to render, because you can tell this is quite a detailed model. But if you want to support this show, like I said, go over to Patreon, our monthly donation service, and give what you can to help us make more ships more ship shows like this, or a one-time donation over at trekyards.com. Give what you can, 5, 10, 1,000, $2 million, whatever you can afford. Dig deep into those $1 million bank accounts to give us what you can, maybe, please.
That's right. And if you can't do that, that's fine. Just liking the video, sharing the video would be much appreciated. Even subscribing to the channel and just getting notifications of when we release new content, which is a lot. You guys will be impressed, especially if you like Star Trek. There's a lot of great content on our channel. But
as you can see, a lot of we've managed to archive a lot of amazing other sci-fi shows, real assets, and we're very, very proud of that. So do tune in for other, Firefly or Stargate or whatever assets. The real deal, the real documentary deal, guys.
And as he said, if we hit our Patreon goals, we can bring you full episodes on these ships with this high attention to detail, close-up pictures, all the details, facts, specs, everything you want to know about the ship will be a reality on a regular basis. But we need to hit those Patreon goals, so please help us out if you can. But until next time, everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Commander Coggins.
Insert Firefly catchphrase here.
We are a leaf on the wind. Watch how we soar.
Bye, guys.